today we live in a world where we are surrounded by pain. Pain caused by war, pain caused by homelessness, by poverty, by nakedness, by maltreatment. And one of those problems that I want to talk to you about today that I believe we have a solution for is child abuse. So there are many organizations that are working towards helping this, but obviously it's not enough and we can always use more. And so one organization that has a particularly interesting founding and a very neat story behind it that I want to talk to you about today is Child Help. And their main page, they talk about how they give a statistic that is very tragic, and 5 children a day die because of child abuse. 5 a day. And they say that is 5 too many. So basically, they were founded in 1959, and that's not exactly when the company was started, but it's when the 2 co-founders had an event that changed their life that spurred them to start this company. They were actually 2 young Hollywood actresses who were rising in fame, Sarah O'Meara and Yvonne Yetterson. They were chosen to go to Japan to entertain American soldiers during the Korean War. And when they came back, their lives were changed, and they now wanted to help with children. Now, what happened when they were over there? When they arrived, it was actually after a typhoon had hit recently, and so they were told to stay indoors for a few days before entertaining the soldiers, but they did not want to. So after a day or so, they were restless. They went out onto the streets, and they saw a specific group of children that were not well dressed, and it was cold. They were hiding under some garbage, trying to find food and shelter. And they had their little dictionary, American-Japanese dictionary, with them. And so they managed to talk with the children enough to know that they were abandoned. They had no home, no parents. And so, of course, these 2 young girls took them back to the hotel with them. They fed them, they bathed them, they clothed them. But as soon as they had them all tucked into bed, they realized, what do we do with these children? So they searched the area for orphanages that would take them in, but no one would. Finally, they found a lady named Ken Horachi, who actually was using her own home as an orphanage. She agreed to take them in if the girls would fund them. So whenever the girls started performing for the soldiers, at the end of their performance, they would pass around a hat and ask the soldiers for money for the children. Word spread. A lot of the soldiers donated, and that home turned into their first orphanage. More children flooded to the area, more donations came in, and eventually there were 5 orphanages in that area. So that is basically how they started. They originally started in Tokyo, and then when they came back home, they decided to do the same thing here in the United States. On their website, the first thing that they show you is some child abuse statistics so that you're more aware of the problem and how not devastating, but how deep this problem is. Deep. So every year, 3.6 million, there are nationwide referrals, and that means that there are 3.6 million calls telling someone that there's a child or a group of children that are in trouble, that are being abused. That's nationwide. However, the United States sadly has one of the worst records, especially for an industrialized nation, because 3 to 7 children die every hour here. All right. So when it comes to abuse, you probably want to know the most popular form of abuse, and that is physical abuse. That's the most significant, with 28.3% of the children are physically abused. Next is sexual abuse, close behind with 20.7%. And then we have emotional neglect. Emotional abuse and physical neglect is the next 3 problems that are all considered part of child abuse. So maltreatment is included. So this company, how does it actually help? Because a lot of organizations say they help, but you really want to know if you're donating and if your services, your time, your money, where it's going. So they actually, since they are nationwide, they have a ton of things going on. Their website is very in-depth. And so I'm going to name off just some of the few. They have community centers everywhere. They actually have developed their own child help hotline. So you can call this number, and wherever you are, you can have someone to come and help with the situation. They have connections to foster cares, orphanages in the area. So they have foster care and adoption services, group homes, advocacy centers. They have events to raise money that everyone can be a part of. So they'll have like golf tournaments, they'll have paint races, they'll have runs, just kind of things that bring the community together. So it's kind of fun event, but it's raising money and awareness and bringing a community together. And lastly, they're just now starting with child help treatment facilities. So instead of just trying to rescue children from abusive homes, they're trying to help treat them. So I think they only have 2 facilities right now, but hopefully that's going to grow as the company continues to succeed. So how can we get involved? That's a question that everyone wants to know. And they make it very easy. It's not just give money, because that can be kind of impersonal sometimes. It's not always appealing to just donate $5, donate $10 here, because you hear that everywhere you go for St. Jude's, other organizations. This is very unique because they have, oh, I can't read that. Okay, so they have donations and gifts. You can actually give gifts to the children, but you can sponsor a specific child. So you can know their case and know and connect with them personally. They have events and organizations like we talked about, and obviously you can just spread the word. So if you know of anyone who you think would be interested in this, or if you yourself, just go check out their website, read more about their story. It's very interesting, and just being aware of this problem, you know, and you talking about it, there might be someone you know who hears you and they actually do help. So just check out their website.